I'm back, and I want to say this clearly from the beginning. I didn't come back just to start posting again. I came back with a different mindset, a steadier one, a clearer one. I came back having reclaimed ownership of this channel, and more importantly, ownership of the direction behind it. Being away taught me something I probably could not have learned while constantly being in motion. When you step back long enough, you start to see where things lost their center. You notice where your focus got scattered, where your standards slipped, and where you started reacting instead of leading. That kind of distance can be uncomfortable, but it can also be useful because it forces honesty. And honesty was necessary. I had to admit that if this channel drifted at all, that responsibility was mine. Not the platform, not timing, not circumstances. Mine. That realization changed the way I looked at everything. It made me stop thinking in terms of excuses and start thinking in terms of responsibility. It made me ask a better question, not what got in the way, but what is mine to correct. During my time away, I spent a lot of time learning, reading, reflecting, and rebuilding. Not only in the practical sense, but inwardly. I focused less on chasing output and more on strengthening the foundation behind it. I wanted to understand discipline more deeply. I wanted better judgment. I wanted more control over my attention, more clarity in my thinking, and more substance in what I say. A big part of that meant returning to ideas that have lasted because they deal with struggles that never really change. Pressure changes, technology changes, culture changes, but human weakness does not change much. Distraction is still distraction. Fear is still fear. Ego is still ego. Drift is still drift. So I went back to teachings that speak directly to those things. One of the biggest lessons I spent time with was the difference between what is in our control and what is not. That sounds simple, but living it is not simple at all. You cannot control every outcome, every opinion, or every moment of recognition. You cannot force timing. You cannot force response. But you can govern your effort. You can discipline your mind. You can choose your standards. You can decide how seriously you take your work. That shift alone changes the way a person moves through life. I also spent time thinking hard about time itself. How much of it gets lost without us even noticing, not only through obvious laziness, but through hesitation, confusion, scattered focus, and half-hearted effort. It made me look at my own life more honestly. It made me ask whether I was using my energy in a way that actually meant something, whether I was building something worth returning to, whether this channel had the kind of center that deserved your attention. Another thing I focused on was self-governance. It is easy to speak in a way that sounds thoughtful. It is much harder to live in a way that is ordered, harder to be measured, harder to hold yourself to a standard when nobody sees the private battle. But that is where everything starts. If a person cannot govern themselves, eventually they are governed by mood, comfort, distraction, impulse, or the need for approval. I did not want to keep building from that place. I also came back with a stronger respect for restraint. Not every opportunity is worth taking. Not every reaction is necessary. Not every battle deserves your energy. A lot of strength is wasted by people who never learn where to place it. I've learned that clarity is not only about knowing what to pursue, it is also about knowing what to leave alone. That is what this return is really built on. Not noise, not urgency for the sake of looking active, not trying to recapture something that existed before. This is about coming back with more intention, more discipline, and a better sense of what this channel is meant to be. So what does that mean for you? It means the advice I give here is going to come from a more serious place. I'm not interested in filling space with empty motivation or saying things that sound good for a moment and disappear by tomorrow. I want this channel to offer something more solid than that. something useful, something that can actually stay with a person when life gets difficult. The focus here will be on becoming more grounded, more disciplined, and harder to shake, on learning how to think clearly under pressure, how to carry responsibility without turning bitter, how to endure setbacks without collapsing into self-pity, how to stop being ruled by distraction, emotion, and comfort, how to become someone who can be trusted because they have learned to stand upright internally, not just look composed on the surface. I want this channel to be a place where strength is understood correctly, not as performance, not as image, not as aggression. Real strength is steadiness. It is self-command. It is emotional control. It is patience. It is the ability to act with principle when reacting would be easier. It is the ability to stay aligned with what matters, even when the world around you keeps trying to pull you in 10 different directions. There will be a deeper standard behind what I make from here on out. More care in the message, more weight behind the advice, more honesty in the way I speak, because I do not want this to be just another channel people visit for quick inspiration and forget an hour later. I want it to give people something lasting, a sharper mind, a stronger frame, a clearer sense of responsibility, a better way to meet life. And I think that matters now more than ever, because a lot of people are overwhelmed, distracted, and inwardly unstable. They are full of information, but low on clarity, full of stimulation, but low on direction, full of opinions, but low on discipline. I know that because I've had to confront versions of those same problems in myself. That is part of why this return means something to me. It is not performative, it is personal. So yes, I'm back. But this is not a return in the shallow sense. I'm not trying to pick up where things left off and pretend nothing happened. I've changed, and that change matters. I see this channel differently now. I take it more seriously. I understand more clearly what I want it to give and what I do not want it to become. To those who stayed connected to this space, who remained patient, and who believed there was still something worth building here, I appreciate that more than I can properly express. Now it is on me to match that belief with substance. From this point on, I want this channel to be known for clarity, discipline, honesty, and useful depth. I want people to leave with more than a good feeling. I want them to leave with something they can carry into real life, something that helps them think better, act better, and live with more intention. I'm back, and I've reclaimed ownership of this channel, not just in name, but in spirit, in standards, in responsibility, in direction. And from here forward, that is going to show in the quality of everything I put out.